Action.
Just cut the frame on the record. Okay.
Okay. We shoot?
We are shooting.
Okay. We're here with Dr. Thomas Freeman at Texas Southern University, right here on the campus.
Start again. All right.
All right. We're here with Dr. Thomas Freeman at Texas Southern University on the campus in the Education College. And there's also a dedicated college on the university campus, the School of Honors, which is dedicated to Dr. Freeman and his long journey of work that he's done here at the university over the course of over 60 years. He's taught here. He's been the debate coach for, well, Dr. Freeman, how long have you been a debate coach?
I'm in my 65th year.
And so you came out of from Virginia. You told me.
That's right.
And what did you go to school there? Did you go
yes, I attended Virginia Union University in Richmond, Virginia.
And did you? When did you move to Houston, Texas?
In 1949.
And you have a church.
That's right, the Mount Horeb Baptist Church, located at 1915 Lockwood Drive in the 5th Ward section of Houston. And I've been there for 63 years.
Wow.
They will be celebrating the 64th minister's anniversary in March.
And at when you came out of school in Virginia, what were your what was your education, undergraduate degree in?
Yes, following my studies at Virginia Union, I attended Andover Newton Theological Seminary in Newton Center, Massachusetts, whence I graduated cum laude, top man in the class. I then attended Boston University and Harvard for only 1 year. And then I went to what I tell students to be the greatest university in the world, the University of Chicago, from which I received the doctorate degree. Since that time, I did institutional study in Africa, and I also studied at the University of Vienna in Austria.
Now, I've heard other educators say that the University of Chicago is the greatest university in the world. Also, a man of your stature, that's going to carry the most weight I can imagine. Why do you say that?
At the time, it was ranked as one of the top institutions of higher learning. Hutchings introduced some new methods, and that attracted the attention of educators all over the world. And they would come to the University of Chicago to be a part of the Hutchings experience.
Is that a Jesuit university?
Not that I know of. I don't think it has any religious affiliation at all.
Okay. Okay. And then, so when you came here to TSU, yes. Texas Southern, did you immediately begin being a professor?
I came as a professor.
Okay.
At the time that the university was established, the effort was to draw from the resources all over the nation persons with doctorate degrees to establish academic credibility for the university. And I was one of those whom they combed the country for with a doctorate degree to come to the institution. So I came as a professor, already having had the doctorate degree. But I came as professor of philosophy. In fact, initially, I expected to remain only 9 months. The reason, I was already employed in Virginia and my church would not release me. So I was minister in absentia, living in Texas, pastoring in Virginia, and I would go back every 3 weeks for congregational interaction. I came to Texas Southern for an experiment. I wanted to find out how a person trained in religion and philosophy could operate on a state college campus where there was separation of church and state. At the end of 9 months, I concluded that my experiment had worked. I was able to integrate into the life of the university and was accepted at all levels.
So I apologize, go ahead.
That's all right. I taught a course in logic. And one of the assignments was to do a debate. The students in the class went to the then dean of students, Dr. Samuel Warren, and said, "We have found a debate coach." And Dr. Warren called me into his office and said, "Tom, I understand that you want to coach a debate." I said, "Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to be here long enough in order to do that." So I dismissed it. But the young men kept bombarding me, asking me to do it. And I said to them, "I tell you what, if the 4 of you will be on the team, then I will coach the team for as long as I am here." And one of those 4, Dr. James Race, became the vice president of the provost here at the university and is now retired. But those 4 students, Hamer King, Charlie Wexler, Lawrence, and James Race, took the course, went through the rigor of the training, and I took them to the University of Chicago, where they won both of their debates. When I came back, Dr. Lanier and Dr. Bolton cornered me and said, "Tom, you cannot leave. You have to stay." And they persuaded me to go back to Virginia, to be released from my contract, and come back to Texas. And I've been here ever since.
Well, that's remarkable. I'm glad that you did. What do you feel is, what makes you happiest in education?
What makes me happiest is the opportunity provided to not only watch the growth and development of students, but to be a part of that growth and development.
Now, with Dr. Race, was he your contemporary or was he your student?
He was a student. We are contemporaries, and we have been on faculty together. He was my boss at the time. He's a member of my church. In fact, he's treasurer in my church. But he was a 19-year-old kid when I came here without a father, who became attached to the father figure that I represented. And through the years, we've had a close relationship with each other.
And you mentioned another race. Was that, you said it was his brother? That's his brother?
No, that was Hamer. I might have said race, but I meant Hamer King. Okay. I had two brothers, Otis King and Hamer King. Otis was the dean of the law school here, and Hamer was connected with the Economic Development Office in Washington. Yes.
I know there was a dynamic legacy that Dr. Race would be connected to. He went to the University of Iowa, right?
Yes, that's right, yeah. In fact, went to the University of Iowa first as a student on the debate team.
Wow.
Yeah, and then later he decided that's where he wanted to do his doctorate, yes.
And I guess George Washington Carver attended the University of Iowa also, didn't he?
Well, I'm not familiar with his.
That's the story I understand is that Dr. Carver walked from Georgia to Iowa as an undergraduate, and the way he supported himself, one of the ways he washed people's clothes for them on the way there. So being here at Texas Southern, I guess you've what all of different courses have you taught over the years besides debate and philosophy?
Well, I really haven't taught debate. I don't think I've had a course in debate. I've had courses in logic, and within the course of logic there has been debate. My primary teaching responsibility has been in the area of philosophy, introduction to philosophy, advanced philosophy, aesthetics, philosophy of education, foundation, those kinds of courses. Most of them are general courses for students without regard to major.
Do you personally have a philosopher that you're going to?
No, I try to teach my students to be eclectic. One tends to view life in a narrow perspective if he chooses one philosopher. If he chooses several philosophers, he will have varying points of view to consider in the development of his own point of view. So I don't encourage any one philosopher or philosophy. Yes.
If someone was to say to you, I'd like to break into understanding philosophy, but I need a person to introduce me to get into it, who would you recommend?
Well, I don't think I'd recommend anybody, but you can't begin any better than with Socrates.
Okay.
Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, the historic figures. But those will be. But I wouldn't say that it's. I don't know. Depends on the person involved, what kind of experience he's had, what kind of interaction I've had with him. That's what I would suggest.
Okay. And so you taught logic all the way from day one till all the way basically till now, or you're retired now, right?
I don't think I taught courses in logic, but not logic all the way.
Okay.
My last course was Introduction to Philosophy.
Okay.
And I am coach of the debate team now. Coach, the title I have is Coach Emeritus. That's a title. You saw me in my office, and I'm working with students every day.
Do you feel like there are any students that you've taught that it comes into your mind where you say you feel like your impact on their development and in turn their impact on the world?
There's no better figure than Barbara Jordan.
Okay.
And Barbara Jordan was a student of mine for 4 years. Now, I did have interaction with Martin Luther King, but it was only for 1 year at Morehouse College. But here at TSU for 4 years, I worked with Barbara from a teenager until she moved into adulthood.
Did you teach at Morehouse for a year?
1 year, yes.
Okay.
I was in the Department of Religious Studies, and Martin Luther King was one of my students in that class. And I did not know that at the time. In fact, I didn't discover it until 10 or 15 years later, and he brought it to my attention. My team, we were in Atlanta at dinner, and he came in along with his entourage. And I said to my students, look, there is Martin Luther King. And before dinner was over, he came up to our table, stuck out his hand, and said, Dr. Freeman, you don't remember me, but I remember you. You taught me. And he went on to describe the course, and I looked at him, I said, I did. And from then on, we developed a relationship so that he knew who I was, and I knew who he was. My baby brother, Dr. Paul Freeman, at the time was the conductor of the Czechoslovakia Symphony Orchestra, and he was in Oslo at the time that Martin Luther King was there. He saw him at the airport. He said, I think I'll speak to him. He said, no, he doesn't know me, so I won't bother about speaking to him. And he said, well, I may not get another chance to do this, so I'm going to speak to him. So my brother Paul stuck out his hand and said, Dr. King, you don't know. And before he could finish his sentence, Martin said, oh, yes, I do. You are Tom Freeman's brother.
And this is when he was getting his Nobel Prize.
Yes, yes.
Amazing.
Yes, yes.
Now, was your brother just attending the ceremony, or was he also?
No. He just happened to have been in Oslo at the time.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me that he attended the ceremony. He just said he met him there. You see? Yes.
Now, Barbara, she taught down in Atlanta, Tuskegee.
Yes, for a while. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she ever teach a Spelman or anything like that?
Not that I know of. She was at the University of Texas for a long time. I know that.
Now, you said you went to Vienna over in, you went to Austria.
Austria,
yes.
What
did you do there?
I just did some work in psychology. I did some courses. Just the summer.
Did you get to visit Mozart's home and Beethoven?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Do you know who Rudolf Steiner is?
Rudolf Steiner?
Yeah.
No, I'm not familiar with him.
He's an Austrian educator. He's the founder of the Waldorf School.
Yeah.
You heard of him or not?
No, I don't know. Yeah.
So, now, you just had an anniversary at your church, right?
Well, no, I said we're going to have the 64th anniversary in March.
There was one I was invited to. I wasn't able to make it.
I mean, the previous.
That was just not too long ago. Loretta Brock invited me to it, and she told me it was going to be very dynamic.
Yeah.
I just wasn't able to make it, but I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yes.
And but I'm here. We do museum projects.
Yeah.
And his dad owns Southwest Museum.
Yes. It was a homecoming service that she was talking to you.